Attorney Sigrid McCawley, managing partner at Boies Schiller Flexner, is one of the last active Epstein cases, has one of the last cases going on right now in federal court, all against Epstein's longtime accountant and lawyer. And she joins me now. Sigrid, great to have you. So people who have spent years insisting there was a conspiracy or that Epstein was murdered are disappointed, even outraged, that there seems to be no new information. But actually, for you and your case, there has been some valuable information you've been able to glean from what the government has released. What is it?
There's been a lot of information we've been able to glean. And I think what's really just astonishing about this recent disclosure from the government is that they know they are sitting on a treasure trove of information and they're not turning it over. And I've worked on these cases for over 10 years now. There's a plethora of information that the public has not been able to see relating to Epstein and his co-conspirators. And as you said, we have a case going on right now in federal court addressing some of those issues.
What kind of information?
All kinds of information. I mean, certainly if you look at what the government recently disclosed, the first time Pam Bondi came out and gave us some information, you'll see a list where they took multiple computers, multiple items from the houses. You know, they not only secured information from his Florida house, but also from his New York house. What was on those computers? The public has not seen that. What do the financial records tell us? Do they tell us that money was being given to him by certain individuals, that money was flowing out to certain individuals? All of that is critical for the public to be able to know, to understand how someone could have operated a sex trafficking scheme for over 20 years without being convicted.
The Trump administration is getting a lot of blowback from their own base, from their own supporters who have long bought into these conspiracy theories. Why wouldn't they release all that information if they have it?
It's a great question. It's one I've been pondering for quite some time. I mean, we heard this rhetoric at the beginning that everything was going to come out. They would be an open book. This would be a new administration with a new take on the Epstein scandal. But now what we're seeing is the exact opposite. They're walking all of those words back and not standing by them.
Do you have any information that the Attorney General Pam Bondi is refusing to withhold anything or has been asked not to withhold, to reveal something?
Well, it's self-evident. If you just look at the information that we know that they have, there had to be information on those computers. There has to be other information that they could disclose. I understand the concern, and I have that significant concern over protecting survivors' rights and making sure that we're not disclosing, for example, any child pornography information. However, there's a ton of information of what happened in Epstein's world, who was coming into his homes, who was leaving his homes, who he was paying, who he wasn't paying, et cetera. And that information has not flowed out from the government.
Yeah, you're talking about bank records that should be out there. While the Attorney General was just talking about child pornography, nobody wants to see that. And nobody should see that. But your point is there's a lot of very valuable information that you could be using in your case and that people deserve to know.
People certainly deserve to know. I mean, the survivors out there deserve to know. They deserve the full information of what was happening in Epstein's sex trafficking operation, and that has gone undisclosed, and people have gone without punishment. And that's also a significant disappointment for the survivors that I've represented over many, many years.
You represent Epstein's victims in this lawsuit against Epstein's longtime accountant and lawyer. What are you trying to prove? That they knew what he was doing, that they helped him in some way?
Exactly. So that they were on the inner circle. There were many people. Epstein could not have run this operation without the help of many people. He needed a lawyer who would, cover things up for him. He needed an accountant who would funnel money in certain ways. And as we know, he had a group of people around him who helped protect him and help that scheme to continue running. None of those people have been prosecuted. So this is a civil case that hopes to get at those issues. And we still continue to hold hope that the government will eventually prosecute these individuals.
And when do you expect your case to go to trial?
We're scheduled for trial, hopefully in the coming year or so.
All right. Sigrid McCawley, keep us posted. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.